Take a good look at this illustration. Is this what life does to us? I'm sure you've heard about the concept of childlike faith or having the heart of a child. But have you ever stopped to think about what that really means? You see, children love unconditionally. They don't care about your race, religion, your politics, social status, or even your looks. They forgive quickly. They have fun. They believe in themselves and others and haven't been weighed down by the burdens of life. This is the heart of a child. This is the way that we all start out in life. Unfortunately, as we grow up, these things will change. But we have to remember that most of what we believe and most of our behavior was learned. The good news is, if things aren't working out for us, we can always learn something new. I was taught that I was stupid, worthless, and would never amount to anything. I was taught that I was inherently bad, and so was everyone else. I learned that people couldn't be trusted. I believed that I had to be in control. I could never be vulnerable and never show weakness. None of this was true. All of these things worked against me and moved me farther away from the person I was meant to be. What have you learned that has stolen your childlike faith or that heart of a child? What were you taught that prevents you from being everything you were created to be? We speak about free will, and I'm a firm believer that life is about choices, but choice is often limited by the available options. So how much of what you think and believe did you choose? And how much is simply the product of your environment and what you were taught? Now, I'm not being critical, but I will challenge you to consider whether these things are working for you or against you. Do you have the relationships and career that you want to have? Are you living the life that you always imagined? If we are to become the person we were meant to be, we must ask ourselves these difficult questions, and if necessary, have the courage to learn something new. It just might be the most important work of our lives. Choices, choices, choices. Life is all about choices, right? How many times have you heard that old song? In this video, I'm going to sing you a different tune. It might be a little off key, just a little bit different than what you're used to hearing. But it's going to be about choices. I'm going to talk about the most important choice that you will ever make. Question: how many of you like to be told what to do? If you're like me, you don't like it at all. I want to do what I want to do when I want to do it. But how much of what we do, how we think, feel, or believe, did we actually choose? Definition: personal paradigm. What you believe about yourself and the world, and what you choose to believe here is the most important choice that you will ever make. Now, we aren't born with this paradigm in place, are we? So how is it shaped? I'm going to tell you briefly how my paradigm was shaped. I grew up in an abusive home, physically, verbally, and emotionally. I can remember times when I couldn't lie down on my back because of the pain. I was told consistently that I was stupid, worthless, and would never amount to anything. All around me, I saw anger, addiction, broken homes, economic struggle, and all of these things informed my paradigm. No one told me that this is the way you should live your life, but when you see it day in and day out, it becomes your reality. It becomes what you believe about yourself and the world. So what about you? What informed your personal paradigm? What do you believe about yourself and the world? And is it time to make a different choice? If so, keep in mind that our paradigms work like the navigation system of a car. Whenever you make a decision to think and act outside the box, it will try to correct you and get you back on course with your old paradigm. In 1 mile, take the exit. In 500 feet, make a U-turn. Your paradigm will lead you right back to that abusive relationship. It will prevent you from escaping that horrible job that pays you just enough to get by. But there is more to life than that. I don't know how old you are, but it took as long as you've been alive to build that box where you live, and everything that you want to change is inside. So, if you want to find solutions, then you must look outside of your box. You must abandon your personal paradigm and make a different choice. Choose to believe in a loving and faithful relationship. Choose to believe in a strong and healthy body. Choose to believe in a career that you love and economic abundance. Choose to believe in a happy and fulfilling life, a life of meaning and contribution. Choose today what you will believe about yourself and the world. It is the most important choice that you will ever make. If you're listening, this message is for you. There was a man who went running every morning before work, and each day he took the same 3-mile path. Around the beginning of the 3rd mile, he passed by an old house, and there he saw an old man sitting in a rocking chair and a dog lying on the porch, whimpering very loudly. The man always wondered about this, so one day he stopped to meet the old man and ask about his dog. He introduced himself and proceeded to ask, "Sir, every morning I run by here and I always see you sitting in your chair and I can hear your dog. Why is he whimpering like that?" The old man chuckled and responded, "He's laying on a nail." The man asked, "He lays on the same nail every morning? Why doesn't he just get up and move?" And the old man responded, "I guess it isn't hurting bad enough." What pain have you been living with? Maybe there are things that you can't move on from, people that you can't forgive. You make progress in your life, but it always seems like every time you take 2 steps forward, you get knocked 3 steps back. Maybe it's been so long now that you've accepted this pain as part of who you are. And it is this barrier, this inability to move past hurtful experiences that will always bring you back to that nail. You're living in an emotional purgatory, stuck somewhere between a place of misery and pain, but still trying to live a normal life. And even though it hurts, you keep on telling yourself, it's not as bad as it could be. Maybe you're afraid that if you do move, you'll wind up in a place that is much more painful. And you've been there. It is the pains and disappointments of the past that have taught you to protect yourself, to put up walls of defense. You've built walls of anger, judgment, and distrust toward others. You use drugs, alcohol, or meaningless sexual encounters because you're desperate to feel something good. Maybe you're drowning yourself in school or in work, anything to distract you and numb the pain. But these are the giants of your life, and they will not go away unless you face them. And these distractions will not solve your problems. In fact, they'll probably make them worse. And know this, the same walls that you've built to keep out the bad will also keep out the good. So, for the sake of your life, it is time to face your giants and tear down those walls. But I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, where do I start? I don't know what to do. And that's okay. Of course, you don't know what to do. If you knew what to do, you wouldn't be in this situation. But you don't have to have all the answers. Consider this quote by Henry Ford. On a day in court when his education and intellect was being questioned, he answered his critics like this. He said, "I have a row of electric push buttons on my desk. And by pushing the right button, I can summon to my aid men who can answer any question that I desire to ask." Henry Ford didn't have all the answers, but he knew where to find them. Now think about this. Does the man running a billion-dollar company know how to do every job in that company? Of course not, but he does have a team that supports his mission. Many of you have been laying on the same nail for years, so I have to ask you, is it hurting bad enough yet? Are you ready to make a change? You don't have to have all the answers. None of us do. But you do need a team that supports your mission in life. People who will build you up, encourage you, and provoke you to success. You also need to know where to find the answers that you seek and who to turn to for help. And finally, you must have the courage to take that step, to face your giants and move away from the nail. And don't worry about what comes next, because as Rumi said, as you start to walk out on the way appears. And don't wait for the stars to align before you take that step. Just have the faith and the courage to start, and I promise the way will appear. Now get up and move. If you like this video, I would really appreciate it if you shared it with all of your friends and subscribe to my channel. Now please, take what you need and leave the rest.